this is where it gets juicy. My photographer, which was my associate, I had worked with him in the past. I did some behind the scenes work for him for free, but you know, I didn't mind because I liked his work. And I wanted him as my photographer because I respected his work, liked his work. And as we get close to the wedding, I'm breathing hard because I'm like, this is that, like, I feel the anger. It's growing inside of me. Anyway, this photographer, we have a mutual friend between the two of us. She's my friend, more mutual or associate for on his end, but she had let me know that she was surprised that he was going to be shooting our wedding because of some things that he had shared with her about me. I said, a word about me? What, pray tell, did he say? Something along the lines of, I was late to a photo shoot, the photo shoot that he had invited me to help him with or take behind the scenes video of. The video wasn't really what he was looking for. I had to tell her, girl, one, now that's not to say because he didn't pay me, I'm going to have to do my job. I always put my best foot forward in whatever I do. My Instagram page, people can see my body of work. You know what I'm capable of. You know what my work looks like. What I put together for him as far as a behind the scenes video is nothing less than what I do or have done for anybody else. Nothing less. It looked like Houston Project work. With that being said, look, let me adjust myself. With that being said, he was basically like, the video that she put together wasn't what I was looking for. She was late. I don't even think I was that late, because I definitely caught everything from the beginning to the end. Now, there was one point in time where I did lock my keys in my car. I locked my keys in the car. So I did have to step away and get my keys out of the car because it's winter, it gets dark early. I didn't want to be fumbling around trying to get into my car when it was dark. I had to step away for a little bit and get my boyfriend at the time, now my husband, ex-boyfriend, because he's now my husband. Anyway, had to get him to come and get my keys out of the car. But I did go back to the shoot, did the video, put together 2 videos for him. There was one where I was just kind of trying to show my branding abilities, like, okay, this is what I can do for a brand. But I think that's what he didn't like. And then the other one was a behind the scene video, which he did like because he posted that everywhere. But anyway, when my friend told me this, we're a couple months out from the wedding. And I'm thinking, I can get a new photographer because, one, I didn't like the engagement photos that he did for us. I didn't like them. But I was in the headspace well, I like him as a person. I know that he's capable of good work. What is going on? What is really... There we go. Okay. The engagement photos, which I don't even know. I'm not even going to put a picture up. I'm not going to. The engagement pictures were not the best. So much so, he wanted to do a reshoot because he didn't like them. Now, I know some photographers, they work best when this subject is more photographic or whatever. However, a good photographer knows how to work with what they're given because everybody is not a model. Everybody's not, skinny. Like, I'm not little, anybody's skinny. Some people, they could be nice looking and don't take good pictures. I feel like that's me. And he more so works with models, like people that are trying to be models. And sometimes when you're working with people that are true models or have that look that you're looking for, it can be a little bit easier to photograph them. I get that. I know that. But anyway, a true photographer is going to work with what they have. Now, I understand you look how you look. Your photographer can't really change your look. You look how you look. But he didn't like his first shoot so much so he wanted to do a second shoot. Me and my now husband, we were not really too thrilled between the first shoot and the second shoot. But I kept wanting to give him a chance. When the wedding comes, I know he's going to kill it. Because you got your suit on, I got my dress on. It's going to be Vogue quality. Because that's how I viewed his images. Vogue quality. Loved his work. Again, this is why I say trust your gut. Because I still had that uneasiness. And then when my friend came to me with that later, I still got the uneasiness, but I had already put down a deposit and I'm thinking I don't really want to ask for my money back and it might be non-refundable because for some people it is non-refundable. So I just said, you know what? He's a photographer. We got it. We got this. On the day of the wedding, I start to get overcome with this overwhelming feeling of, oh my gosh, what if he doesn't show up? Your photographer and your videographer are the most important part of a wedding. They're the most important part of the day, if you don't do nothing else, you have your photographer and your videographer. They have the biggest piece of your biggest day. On my day, on our day, I start to have this overwhelming feeling of dread that he is not going to show up. I don't even know where that came from. It could have just been the wedding jitters. I don't know. But that's how I started to feel. And while my friend, who was also my makeup artist, she's doing my makeup, he comes in. My eyes are closed, but he comes in. He says my name. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, you're here. Like, you're here. I'm so glad you're here. He was there. He was dressed professionally. He came with his second photographer. I said, okay, he's got it. He's going to do his thing. And I felt like he killed it. He was where he needed to be. He was getting all what I felt was all the right shots, everything, okay? When you have your photographer, it is also a good idea to let them know the type of shots that you want. I didn't really map that out very well because there are some shots that I should have had with certain people that I didn't get. I should have got some with my sisters. I should have got one with my brother, my grandma. Like, a lot of those I did not get. When you were mapping that out, you want to have your shot list. Some photographers, they have that for you, but some don't. So have a shot list so they know who they need to be taking pictures of. Wedding's over, flash forward anyway. So now we're getting past the wedding day. I might in another video, we'll go back to some more wedding planning, but we can talk about this right now. In that first week, he sends me about 75 pictures. Now, when you get married, your photographer is gonna generally turn around anywhere between 800 to 1,000 pictures. Okay, 75. He said was to hold me over until he finishes editing the rest. This gives me enough to post online and show people I was married now. That's enough to get us through the next couple months, because turnaround time can take 3 to 4 to 6 months. Maybe not 6, 3 to 4 months. And we got married at the end of September. Technically, I gave him October, November, December. Yeah, October, November, December. That's 3 months. Okay. So I didn't really start reaching out to him until January to see where he was at with his work, to which he kept telling me, that's my fault. I'm still working on it. I'll get you some stuff. Okay, cool. No problem. We've had some communication. He's working on it. We're all good. From that time I talked to him, I think he told me like a week or something he'll have them ready. Nothing. Had to reach out to him again, and then I think he responded, oh yeah, I'll send them to you tonight, like that day. Okay, cool. It's cool. Nothing. Again, I proceed to just keep texting him and text him. I think I text him 2 more times. No response. Okay, you know what? That's fine. Maybe he just needs a couple more weeks. And his birthday rolls around. Tell him happy birthday, because we do be telling each other happy birthday. He doesn't respond to my birthday message. Now at this point, that overwhelming feeling of dread that I told you about that I had on the day of the wedding, that's coming over me again. Because I'm thinking, what if we don't get our pictures? I was trying to make do with the 75 that I got, but I said I can't make do with the 75 that I got because there's a lot that happens in a day that gets captured. A lot of those moments were missing from those 75 pictures. And I was trying to get to a place where I was making myself okay with just having 75, but it's not okay because dang, I forgot where I was. Freaking husband walking past the street. I was trying to make myself okay with those 75 pictures, but it wasn't okay because again, there's a lot of different things and moments that are just captured within the day. And that wasn't going to be in all 75 pictures. Plus, that's not what I paid for. And so then I started to think, well, what if he's upset because of the low amount of money that he was paid? However, he set the price point. If you wanted more money, you should have said that you wanted more money, and then we could work that out. Your price is your price, and all I can do is either pay your price or find a better rate. That's how that works. So you can't be mad at me because you undercut yourself. I was coming up with all kind of excuses for him as to why he possibly wasn't returning my photos, whatever. Planning a wedding does make you boss up a little bit and step into your power. It did that for me a lot. With him, this is where you can't play with people, especially women. We do a lot of research. We share a mutual friend, and I reach out to this friend to ask him if he's heard from this guy at all. Because at this point, I'm thinking maybe he's in jail, maybe he's dead. So many things can happen in this life. So I didn't want to keep reaching out to him if he was going through some major life event. But talked to our mutual friend, and mutual friend says, yeah, I talked to him. I talked to them. Word. Are they okay? Is he okay? He's okay. Why? I've been reaching out. No response. He owes me some photos. So just want to make sure he was okay so I don't keep bothering him. Before I asked this mutual friend, I also reached out to the person's partner, which some people thought that was crossing the line. Some people felt like, I mean, if you can't get in touch with somebody, what else are you supposed to do? She honestly was I won't say she was my last resort, but she's closest to him. I'm just thinking, well, I'm gonna reach out to her because maybe she knows what happened. Then I'll know that I need to fall back. That was met with anger. She got upset with me. Basically told me she doesn't have anything to do with her partner's business. Basically, in so many words, don't reach out to her ever again. Okay. My bad. I'm just trying to make sure. Basically, what I asked her, I said, I'm just trying to make sure he's good. Like, is he okay? Because he owes me some photos. He said he'd get them to me by this date. Haven't heard from him. Is he okay? That's actually what I asked her. Is he okay? She was mad at me. Because of that, she blocks me from her phone, from social media. Whatever, girl. Whatevs. That's your man's, not mine. Because me and my husband have talked about this, but if a client of mine is reaching out to him that I'm not getting back to, he just told me he's coming to me to be like, girl, what's going on? Why your client is reaching out to me? Why are you not returning work back to them? Partnership. So reached out to his partner, reached out to a mutual friend, and the mutual friend, I say, I don't want to sue him. I just want the pictures. He tells me he'll get them to you. He's going to get them to you. Okay, cool. We'll hold off. In the meantime, I'm doing some research, get on Better Business Bureau, and I look up this photographer, and I do find a review under his business page, under his registry. There is a comment from a previous bride who had a wedding with this person, and he never returned their pictures or their video. She said he sent her like 4 or 5 images and then just went unresponsive. She took him to like a mediation, said he'd get him to her. After that mediation, he never sent anything. They had a court date. He never showed up to court. When I learned this, I'm like, okay, we're really about to not have any pictures from our wedding. I'm upset because so much of my life has been spent with people getting over on me and screwing me over and all these type of things, and I just sit back and let it happen and ignore signs and all that type of thing. And again, the signs, they were there. Trust your first instinct, okay? Trust your first instinct in everything that you do. When she tells me this, I do get nervous, and I'm just like, and she asked me, she's like, how'd you find me? I said, girl, Facebook. You could find anything on the internet. You can find anything on the internet, just saying. I think she was like 2 years out from her wedding. Never got her pictures, and I feel so bad. I don't know if she still has any of her pictures or videos to this day, but she wanted some of hers to appear in a magazine because, again, that's the type of work that he produces or shows on his page anyway. So that's what makes people want to work with him. I do have a attorney friend out here, and I reached out to him asking him, what should I do? And he was basically telling me what it would cost to take him to court. I really ain't trying to spend no money. I don't want to do that. And then taking him to court, and if he doesn't show up to court, and he already missed a court appearance in the past, for some people, you can go to jail for failure to appear in court. I am not in the business of putting a black man in jail. That's not what I'm trying to do. I really was trying to exhaust every avenue possible so that I did not have to take this man to court. Because again, I'm not trying to put nobody in jail, especially not a black man. I don't want to do that. Again, exhausted every avenue, from reaching out to his partner, or mutual friend, trying to reach out to him myself. My husband even called him. The man was ghosting us. What I did, this was my final straw. Wrote a demand letter, had my attorney proof it. He ain't charged me nothing. He read my letter. He said, this looks great. Got it notarized. Had it sent next day mail. I think I gave him a week from that date to return my pictures or we're going to court. It was sent certified mail. So basically, somebody has to sign for it. It gets to him a couple days after that letter. I get all of our pictures, in addition to an email from him where he tells me that he was out for surgery. Now, I am a compassionate person, and if that was the case, why you couldn't just say that? This man was blatantly ignoring me, or me and my husband. But in his email, sends all the pictures, says that he was out for back surgery and he was going to return half of our payment, whatever. I really don't care if you return half the deposit because you still did your job. When I tell you, I was so upset. My anxiety, I was crying. Like, I would be crying. And I was so upset because this situation was making me stand on business. I didn't want to do that. It really put me in a position that I didn't want to be in. So we get our pictures, that email, whatever. And I'm just like, I really don't care if I ever speak to him again, see him again. I don't want to do business with him no more. Like, you did me dirty, man. You did me dirty. I don't appreciate that. I was so upset. When he said he was going to return half of the money, do you think we ever saw half of the money back? No. I should screenshot it and send it to him and be like, where's my money? Whatever. I paid him to do a job. He did the job. I've heard people say that this happens a lot. Photographers are notorious for doing that. I don't know why, as a photographer, you would take a job, take the money, and not give people their photos. I don't know what that is about. I'm not jeopardizing my business. I'm not putting my business in jeopardy, my reputation, all that. I'm not doing that. If you've paid me to do a job, I'm going to do the job. And I'm going to return your images, your videos, whatever, in a timely manner. And the fact that people were telling me this seems to happen a whole lot. I'm so sorry. I don't care that this happens a lot. This person has pictures from the most important day of my life. One of the most important days of my life. I don't have the images from that day. Yes, I have pictures from guests that took the wedding, which that's cool, but I want the professional images. Now, let me just tell you this. The images weren't the best. And when my sister was looking at them, she said, well, next time. Girl, there's no next time. I'm only getting married one time. These are the pictures. This is it. These are the pictures. The pictures were not representative of what I thought he was capable of doing. Every photographer has their specialty. Just because somebody can shoot models doesn't mean that they can shoot weddings. And just because somebody can shoot weddings doesn't mean that somebody can shoot headshots. Every photographer is not versatile. When a photographer does weddings, you always ask to see samples of their work. You want to see examples of their work, multiple, more than just one. You want to see examples of their work. Read reviews if you can. Make sure that they're reputable, because that really put me through the ringer. Like, my first couple months of being married was spent trying to track this photographer down. But yes, so we have our pictures. They could have been better, but I'm a photographer, so I can go through, I can fix what I need to fix, edit what I need to edit. Some people are cut out of the images. Anyway, now that is officially off of my chest. I feel better. That wasn't supposed to be the direction of this video. Actually, I think I was supposed to go more into the wedding planning, but this is part of the wedding planning. Vet your photographer. Trust your gut. If it does not feel right in your spirit, if it's not sitting right with you, if it's keeping you up at night, if you're getting anxiety behind it, that's not the route that you need to go. It's not. So that is what I did learn. To trust my gut more. Learn to stand on business. I ain't never scared. I take you to court. No, I'm not taking you to court. I'm not taking you to court. And again, I'm just not in the business of putting a black man in jail. And I know my husband was like, he knows what he's doing and it's wrong. And, if he goes to jail, listen, that's going to be on somebody else's account, but it's not going to be me. I am not putting a black man in jail.
Get somebody else to do it.
I'm not doing it. It's not going to happen. So... I think next time we're going to have a little more structure, because now we're outside of this. Now we're outside of the wedding planning. I thought that I was really going to go step by step, how to plan a wedding, what you need to do. I just got PTSD recapping it. Like, I'm telling you, my heart is truly racing. I got PTSD from recapping my wedding. We're done. We're done here. Actually, I think we will. I think next time we're going to talk about the therapy of it all, because I did have a therapist during this wedding planning, and then we were also going through biblical marriage counseling. So many things to say about that, but I will say, if you are in the wedding planning process and you are not in therapy, please get a marriage counselor. Not a biblical. Some of you will have to have a biblical marriage counselor if you're getting married by a preacher. Have your biblical counselor and also have a regular marriage counselor. But we could talk about why later. next time. Anyway, thank you for being a part of my community, and I will see y'all next time. Okay, bye. I don't know how I'm supposed to, I don't know. The storytelling is all over the place, and it is. That's just my frame of mind. This is how I be thinking. It is rambling at this point. So again, thank you for, you know what?